All right. I believe we are live now. We'll give everybody a minute to pop in here before we get started with the first Spreads and Subs episode. Excited to get going. Give it 2 more minutes and we'll get underway. I'll give it 2 more minutes and we'll get underway. All right, here we go. Episode 1, Spreads and Subs, daily gambling show. Had a couple issues today. That's why we're 18 minutes late, but hopefully the stream will go up for these episodes every weekday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. The show is brought to you by Bet Openly. Sports fans, go to Bet Openly. It's the best place where you can make your bets. They have the best odds in the game. If you sign up now, you can go get some bonus money as well. We're going to be doing a hash cash giveaway for everybody that signs up. So if you sign up, take a screenshot and you could send me a direct message on Twitter at JReidNBA, JREIDNBA on Twitter, and I will be able to get you in for that giveaway. Every bet that I'm saying today, go to Bet Openly, place those bets. Okay, so if you were not here for our test episode last week, the way the show is going to work is I'm going to give 10 bets that I like for every single day. After I go through those 10 bets, I'm going to cut down to a three that I like the best. Those are going to be the bets that I'm going with. I'm going to keep a tally for the show of how we're doing with those bets, and that's going to be on the three bets that I pick, not as the 10 for total. I'm, of course, feel free to bet all 10. I'm going to probably bet more than just the three that I say at the end, but all 10 are the bets that I like for whatever's going on today. So today, got a couple NBA playoff games. We got the Knicks and the Pacers starting off game one. We got Nuggets T-Wolves in game two. And we have a lot of MLB today. So let's just get fully underway here. First bet of the day. I like the Knicks team total over 111.5. The Knicks have reached this in three of the six games last series against a significantly better defensive team in Philly. The Pacers really struggled to stay in front of guards. Their guards do not have the best defense. They have a lot of rim protection, so driving guards are going to struggle against them. But if you got guards that can shoot as the Knicks do, I think they're going to be in a good spot. I think they can get up to like 120 today, possibly against the Pacers. I could very well see that happening. The Bucks, even though they were beat up at times, still put up a ton of points on the Pacers. I think the Knicks do that, and this is one of my favorite bets of the day. Knicks also 27 and 14 in MSG. This game is of course at home, and the Pacers are 21 and 20 on the road. They had a good season, but overall not as good on the road. The Knicks are playing their best ball all season, and I just don't see a way that this Knicks offense gets shut down by this Pacers defense. It's been pretty weak all season. So that is my first one here. Moving on to another. I have a few for both NBA games, and then I'll clean up with like four MLB ones as well. Moving on. And I will say, I've come up with these 10 bets. I have not yet decided which three are going to be my three. As I continue to talk about it over the course of this episode, I will decide which three I'm going to pick at the end, and I'll give that to you. But as of now, I like all 10 of these almost equally. Maybe some more than others, but almost equally. Next pick here. Mitchell Robinson over 7.5 rebounds. Pacers are a bottom three rebounding team in the league. They've struggled all season in that department, despite having some good bigs on their team. The Pacers, like I said, are going to struggle against all of these bigs for New York from Hartenstein to Robinson, who does come off the bench. Robinson's been very effective rebounding in his lower minutes. He's had some games with 12, some with 7, 8, 9. He's been very effective in just under 20 minutes, is what he's been getting about per game in the playoffs so far. And if any of these bigs get into foul trouble uh, for the for the Knicks, excuse me, especially Hartenstein, Robinson's going to get a ton of minutes in there, and he's definitely going to be able to hit that 7.5 rebound. If you see a lot of Haliburton driving or Neesmith driving for the Pacers and getting Hartenstein in foul trouble, that's the key to success for this pick. And I don't, if Robinson plays more than 20, 25 minutes, I don't see how this doesn't hit personally. And yeah, I just think that Robinson is going to be able to get in there and box out those Indiana bigs like Turner and Siakam, who, although they're super talented on offense and defense in their respective fields, they're not the best rebounding bigs. And I think Robinson's going to be able to get his tonight, especially off the bench. Moving on here to let's see. Let's go with Tyrese Haliburton over 17.5 points for the Pacers. The line is super low because he didn't have the best series against the Bucks. He hasn't had the best second half of the season in general, but especially against the Bucks, he was not phenomenal. Pat Bev specifically gave him a lot of problems. He was almost shadowing him for most of the series, especially with Dame out. And getting to go from Pat Bev to whoever they decide to put on Haliburton, maybe they throw some Josh Hart on him. I really, really doubt that they have Brunson guarding him. If they have Brunson guarding him, he's getting the 17.5, no question, but I doubt they have Brunson guarding him. It'll most likely be Josh Hart. Halliburton's got to be able to score at least 20 a game for the Pacers to have a chance in this series, I'm going to be honest. And I just see a line at 17.5 coming off a bad series for the, coming off a series against the Bucks where he's playing against Pat Bev for this whole time. I think it's going to be a like taking the donut off the bat uh, when you're in the on deck circle, you're swinging your bat, you're getting guarded by one of the best on ball defenders in the league in Pat Bev. You get to go play the Knicks, who, although are a great defensive team and don't get enough credit for how good they are defensively, I don't think they're going to be able to hold Haliburton at 17.5. I think we see this line shoot up somewhere in the mid 20s towards game 2, game 3. It's at a pretty disrespectful 17.5 right now for Haliburton in game 1. I think we have to take advantage of that now before we lose that line here in a couple games. So Haliburton over 17.5 is my third bet of the day here. Moving on to number 4, let's move on to the second NBA game here, Nuggets and Timberwolves. I like the Nuggets minus 5.5, man. The Nuggets have not lost back-to-back playoff. They've lost back-to-back playoff games one time in the past 2 playoff runs. That was last year where they lost those 2 games to the Suns in Phoenix. This game is in Denver. Even though they lost game 1, they're pretty unbeatable in the playoffs in Denver. The altitude it just plays in their factor. They usually score better. They usually defend better at home. And game 1, I'm not going to say it was a fluke because I think this Timberwolves team is really damn good, and I think they can and maybe will win that series against the Nuggets. But the Timberwolves had a lot of things going for them in that first game. Naz Reid, he went nuclear for them. He's a fantastic player, 6-man, but I just don't see him being able to go absolutely nuclear every game. I think the Nuggets are going to make a lot of adjustments to guard him in game 2. And at the end of the day, I know people hate when you say, oh, more experience, because you have teams like the Thunder, who have been great in the playoffs so far, haven't lost yet. You have teams like the Timberwolves, who have been great in the playoffs, haven't lost yet. Super young teams. Um, and yeah, I'm going to take the experience. I'm going to take the championship pedigree from the Nuggets. I just do not see how they lose back-to-back games at home. I think they win in convincing fashion today. I could see somewhere around a 10-point win for the Nuggets. Staying in there, though, with the Timberwolves team total over 101.5. I think we're going to see a lot of points this game. I know the Timberwolves are a fantastic defensive team, and the Nuggets are solid as well, but I think the Timberwolves are going to at least be able to hit that 102. Although I think Denver wins, I just don't see the Timberwolves being in the double-digit points during this game. Like I said earlier, Naz Reid went absolutely nuclear in that first game, but McDaniels went over 7 and had 0 points. And I feel like those 2 things are going to even itself out. Maybe we don't see as good of a Naz Reid game, but maybe we see a significantly better game from Jaden McDaniels. There's no way he's going to go over 7 twice in a row. I expect game 2 in general to be much higher scoring than game 1. Both teams were kind of feeling each other out in game 1, similar to like the first round of a boxing match or a UFC fight, where both guys are just figuring each other out. Most of the time, you don't see a lot of guys swinging like crazy in that first round. And I think we're going to see a higher scoring game in general here in game two. If I had to predict something off the top of my head, we see something like, let's go, 119, 109, 119, 110, somewhere in that range for this Wolves Nuggets game. And that brings me right to my next point here, which, if I can get it, I don't know where it's at. Is this it right here? Yep. Wolves Nuggets over 207.5. I think if you're going to take the team total for the Timberwolves over 101.5, you should definitely take this one as well. Game two, like I said, is going to benefit these offensive teams against the defensive teams. You learn a lot in that first game. I think both teams did. And you have guys on both sides. Like I said, McDaniels already. Jamal Murray did not play well for the Nuggets in game one. Gobert played great defensively, but didn't score much in game one. And he has been scoring a decent amount in the playoffs. I think they all had bad games in game one, and they still went for 205 total points between the two teams. I think we're going to at least see that 3-point bump here. In this 207.5, I think maybe my favorite bet of the day here. Moving on, that is it for my NBA games. Those are my 6 bets there for NBA. I'll just read those off one more time before I move into MLB. We got the Knicks team total over 111.5. Mitchell Robinson over 7.5 rebounds. Tyrese Haliburton over 17.5 points. And then the other game, Nuggets minus 5.5. T-Wolves team total over 101.5. And Wolves Nuggets over 207.5 as a group. Okay, let's move on to some baseball. As we get later on in this show and the days go by, because we're gonna hit the end of the NBA NHL playoffs, and I do not have any NHL bets for today, but expect those in the future for sure. Yeah, we're eventually gonna get to the point where those playoffs end, and we have nothing but baseball, so we gotta start talking about baseball now. Here we go. Pirates and Angels under 7.5 runs. Both these teams very struggling to score runs. I know the Pirates have been sitting in that 1 run, 2 run, 3 run stage for the past like month and a half now. The Angels are just a bad team in general. For the Angels on the mound is Tyler Anderson. He's been phenomenal for them. He's been a great uh, piece in the season that has not been great for them so far. He has a low 2 ERA, and against a team like the Pirates, who is in a deep, deep slump scoring runs, although shout out to O'Neal Cruz back-to-back games with a home run, he's starting to heat up finally. But yeah, I see the Pirates struggling to score runs this game, and then for the Pirates, is on the mound. He has not had a great season. His ERA is in the fives now, but he just got paid. He is probably still looked at as the ace by a lot of people. Maybe not, hasn't played like it so far this season, but he's been paid like an ace, so he has to be the ace for them. He has had great starts. He's had horrible starts. I think he gets a good matchup here against the Angels, who, like I said, do not score runs. And I think both pitchers have good, solid outings, quality starts from the both of them. And I think we see under 7.5 runs in this game. All right. Moving on to the next MLB game, or next MLB bet, I should say. And I actually have two bets for this game here. Padres Cubs. I have the opposite here, over 7.5 runs. This is Steele's first start back. He got hurt after his only start that he had on March 28th. I can see him being rusty coming back from it. He's a phenomenal pitcher, don't get me wrong, but I always lean to go against the pitchers coming back from injury on the first game. Maybe that's just me, but that's how I personally do my betting. Padres offense been really, really great recently. Had a lot of games with double-digit runs, a lot of games with 7 runs, 6 runs. And this Cubs offense is good enough where I think they're going to get their share of runs. When you're sitting at 7.5, you need 8 runs total. I think we see an easy 4 runs from the Cubs, and the way that the Padres have been swinging the bat, I find it hard to believe that they get under 4 runs in this game, leading to an easy cover of over 7.5 for this Padres Cubs game. And sticking with this Padres Cubs game, I'm going to go with the Padres to win this game. Got Padres money line minus 110. It's currently a pick 'em right now between the two teams. And I just don't trust, like I said, I don't trust the pitchers in the first start back with Steele. I think he's going to give up some runs early and often, get into that Cubs bullpen that has not been great at all this season. That's probably been their biggest weakness, although they've had a pretty solid season so far. After you miss about a month, I think he's going to give up a lot of runs early. And I just don't expect to see the Padres bats all of a sudden go cold in a game against the Cubs where they can score a lot of runs. The way the Padres lose this game is not because they don't score a lot of runs. It's because the Cubs score more than they do. And I don't see that happening. I'm going to trust Yu Darvish, although he's not been amazing this season. I'm going to trust you, Darvish, to have a better start than Steele in his first game back. If Steele comes back and looks like the ace that he was before he got hurt, then I'm going to look like a fool and lose a couple bets. But I'm going to ride with my prediction, and I'm going to rock that on two different bets here with Padres Cubs over 7.5 and Padres money line minus 110. And then last bet here, I'm always going to throw in a bet that's plus a good amount here because I know there's a lot of you out there that like to take the plus 200s, the plus 300s, that don't like to bet the minus 110s. In my eyes, I'm big on betting the minus 110s. I think you just take those odds there. You take your whatever it is, 48% or whatever you get return back on those 110s. And I think that's the play you go if you want to be a successful bettor. But like I said, I know a lot of you out there like to take the plus 200s. So I got one for you. A's money line plus 120. Or is it 120? I could have sworn it was more than 120, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me give it one look here. I bet openly. No, I was right. All right, plus 120. I know you don't want to bet on the A's. I get it. I'm someone who's been taking the strategy of betting against the A's all season, and that has been wildly unsuccessful for me. And I've noticed when watching these A's games, and I've watched a lot this year, that when Wood pitches, they just seem to play better as a whole. Their offense seems to be buzzing more. Wood's been pretty solid this season for them. It's a home game for the A's. They play significantly better at home. And you have Texas traveling all the way from obviously Texas to Oakland to play this game with the A's. This is my long shot plus money pick of the day. I'm most likely not going to have the plus money pick in my final three bets for you guys because honestly, I'm just not predicting this to be better odds to hit than any of the other bets that I announced earlier. So I'm not going to have that in my final three. But if you want to take a plus money pick, I do like the A's against the Rangers today, who have been struggling pretty much all season after that World Series slump. But okay. Looking at these bets here, which ones do I like the most? I'm going to go with, for the first one of my best three bets, I'm going to go with the Wolves Nuggets over 207.5 for all the reasons that I said before. Neither team played phenomenal offensively in that first game, and they still end up with 205 points between the two teams. I think we see a step up from both teams. I think both teams shoot it a lot better tonight, and I think we see Wolves Nuggets over 207.5 cover pretty easily. So that is my first one of my three here. Next one, I'm going to go with, let's see. All right, let's go with, you're not going to let me put it on here? All right, there we go. All right. Haliburton over 17.5 points. Like I said, I think we're at the point where we're getting a line for Haliburton that we're not going to get for the rest of the season at 17.5. I'm not positive on this. Might be a season low for his line at 17.5. They're treating him like he's a high level role player and not like the star that we know he is. And he's getting a significantly better matchup, not having to get shadowed by an aggressive on-ball defender like Pat Bev who's just going to bother you this entire game. He's going to feel a lot more free in this game. He's probably not going to get shadowed. He's going to see a bunch of different matchups, I assume. And I think we see a lot more success from Haliburton. Do I think that the Pacers are going to win this game? I don't. But I think we see a better performance from Haliburton. I think we see him in at least the 20s in this game. And then for the last bet here, I went with two NBAs, so let me give you an MLB for this last one. I'll go with, let's look at this one. Pirates and Angels under 7.5 for all the reasons that I said before. I think we're going to see another successful outing from Tyler Anderson, who has been, like I said, great all season. The Pirates' bats have just been so bad. I have the Pirates scoring somewhere between 3 and 4 runs. And then Mitch Keller, he's great against teams that can't hit the ball. When he plays a team that even can kind of hit the ball, he struggled mightily. So I'm not worried about Keller today. I think he boosts that ERA, maybe gets himself back into the fours today. I think we see a quality start from him. Something like 6.6 and a third innings pitched, 1 or 2 runs given up. If he can get out of that first and second inning, which is where he's been giving up his runs, will be very successful. And I think we see something like a 4-3, 4-2 win for the Buccos today. But that about does it here for this first episode of Spreads and Subs. This show is always going to run at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Last for about anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much I have to say about these picks. Um, I'm excited to keep doing this show, man. I think we can be able to give each other successful picks here. Like I said, if you feel like any of these 10 are better than the three that I gave here at the end that are my, I don't want to say locks, because I hate when people say locks, because there's nothing that's locked in this business. Anything that you think is way better than it should be, most of the time ends up not being that. But I should say my three best bets is what I should say. So if you like any of the other seven that are not in the three, go ahead and take those. I feel pretty confident in all these. I'm not rolling in the dough, so if you think I'm betting all 10 every single day, you're kind of crazy. It's not football. It's not college football Saturday anymore, or NFL Sunday. When I'm confident in doing that, I'm not taking 10, 15 bets a day in baseball NBA playoff season. But like I said, I feel good about every one of these 10 picks here. But thanks for coming in. Once again, shout out to Hashmark, shout out to Bet Openly. Click that link in the description for Bet Openly. Sign up, DM me on Twitter at JReedNBA, JREID, NBA, and I'll be able to get you in for that Hash Cash giveaway. We'll be back tomorrow with 10 more bets for you. Hopefully,